So, Joe, we'll go through our fixtures that we've had this season, or results, should I say. So, we've drawn against Cardiff. We lost to Brum in the 95th minute. We drew against West Brom. We beat Ipswich. And then we drew with Sheffield Wednesday. What I want to do, Joe, is just go through each game and kind of, why didn't we win it? I know we did win one of the games, or what was just your thoughts on that game? So, I want to start with Cardiff. Obviously, we drew 2-2. Were we 2-0 down in that game? I think we
Yeah.
were, weren't we?
Yeah, we were,
Yeah.
mate. Yeah, 2-0
We were
down at
2-0
half
down.
time,
And
I
then,
think.
yeah, it was. And then some of it, because I remember watching the game thinking, oh, God, this is what we left the Premier League for. But yeah, what was your overall thoughts on that game? I know some of it got us into that. What were we missing in that game?
What were we missing? I think I'm just trying to remember the lineup at that time. Obviously, we didn't have Piroe.
No.
There was a lot of moving parts, weren't they, mate? To be honest, and it was the first game. It was look, I was excited for it in the build up to it, and really on paper we should have steamrolled them. But I think it does take a bit of adjusting coming down a division. We obviously had certain players that later on we find out don't want to play for the club that were actually involved. So mentality also comes into it as well. So you can sort of forgive the squad for that first game, really. Elite mentality, maybe they should go out and win it, but that's probably why they're not Premier League footballers and we got relegated, right? Because they don't have that elite mentality, if you like. But to be honest, had we lost the game, it'd have been a lot worse. But it's always nice to, even if it's an equaliser, when it comes in the dying minutes, it feels like a win, doesn't it, really?
No, 100%, 100%. And like you said, I didn't even think about the lineups because the lineups completely changed since then. But we do move on to that loss against West Brom. That was not against West Brom, sorry. That loss against Birmingham. That was a horrible one. That should have been 0-0. Maybe we even should have won it. But I mean, that game was crying out for a striker, wasn't it, at the time?
Yeah, it was crying out for a decent 11, mate. To be honest, I think we had, Jamie Shackleton playing right wing, didn't we? So it was one of them. Jamie Shack one side, Dan James the other. So it wasn't amazing to say the least. Obviously, we'd had a few injuries as well, and at that point, for me as a fan, it's like I'm starting to worry because the squad's looking thin. But to be fair, the fact that I don't want to say we did as well, but the fact that we should have got a point. And that, when you consider the situation at Birmingham at the time, new ownership, everyone was buzzing, changes to the stadium are ongoing. I spoke to Brummy Joe before the game and he went, you won't believe it, we've actually got toilets now in the... So there was little things like that. No, but obviously Birmingham's been through a bit of a mire, so you can imagine the crowd, everything, they were riding the crest of a wave. So the fact we did as well as we did, with the team that we did, is testament to Farke. But I was saying to people, after that game, if that's your 11 for the rest of the season, you're finishing mid-table. So thankfully it's changed, But yeah.
I do remember putting a video out after that, just saying we need to sign some players. Like that was the point where I was like, okay, I'm a bit worried now. And then we drew against West Brom. That was a Friday night game, I think I remember. I think we deserved to win that one. That one was, again, I think until we signed Piroe, we were just crying out for a striker each game. We're doing everything. I think that was Cini, Somerville, Gnonto getting so close. And then when you're in the final third, they're a bit like, what do we do now? I will actually skip over the West Brom game because I do want to get to that Ipswich win. Obviously, I live in Ipswich, and that's the 1 week I wasn't here. I was in Germany.
Oh, really?
And I didn't even get to watch it. So, but that win was... I mean, that was brilliant. Just what was your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, amazing. Obviously worried going into the game, having known that I think they were unbeaten like 21 at Portman Road. It had become a bit of a fortress for them. And I think if any team is going to go toe-to-toe with Leeds United over the course of this season, I think we beat them, and we've shown that against Ipswich, because we had frailties defensively, which I think now after the international break will have improved with the new acquisition of Spence & Co. So we will look much stronger. But that if we could face teams like Ipswich every week, I'd be much more confident. Our issue is breaking teams down that don't want to come and play. So if you give me teams that play like Ipswich, it is a case of we'll score more than you. And I think we have the capability to do that. But yeah, it's the teams, and you'll move on to that next game, obviously against Sheffield Wednesday, where if they come to sit in, regardless of where we are, home or away, I'd argue it's probably better to play them away, because that means the impetus is on them to come out. So games at Ellen Road this season will be tough. So we've just got to grind it out, I think.
Yeah, you've kind of hit the nail on the head there with the Sheffield Wednesday draw, such that big win against Ipswich, and then it kind of felt a bit back to reality against Sheffield Wednesday. And I don't want to say Leeds have a problem, because I don't think we do, but I definitely think you're right in the sense of, I think not Portman Road, sorry. I think Ellen Road will be, a key place. This is because at the end of the day, we're still unbeaten at Ellen Road, which is quite a decent, especially we haven't started off the best. But against, like you said, low block teams, we just we can't seem to break them. And I hope Daniel Farke is working on that. I'm sure he is over the international break. But if you could point out if Leeds had one problem over these last 5 games, what do you think that problem is?
The first couple of games, it was a 9. Then it became a 9 and a 10, and now it's just a 10. So the problem is a 10 for me. I think we got the number 9 in Joel Piroe, although he's been played in a 10. We clearly wanted Amiri. That was the one. And, he's not here. He didn't want to come, whatever, bin him off. But had we have got him, he's the kind of player that's going to unlock the door. We still haven't replaced Pablo, mate. We still haven't replaced Samu Saiz. We need a player of that ilk that's able to play them little reverse passes that no one else on the pitch can see, that land straight into the foot of a Gnonto, Somerville, whoever. I do like Somerville in that space, but he's not a 10. Will he try another one of the midfielders there? Yes, maybe. But again, they're not a 10. So I do feel, especially with the Sinisterra, the way that entered, we went on a bit of a roller coaster during the transfer window, and it peaked. And then on the final day, unfortunately, it sort of troughed a little bit. And I do think we might, regret that fact that we didn't get a 10, because I think this side is crying out for it, mate. And hopefully we'll address it in January, depending on where we are. But I think if you were to ask the majority of fans, I don't know about yourself, but I think we've got the 9 now. So we just need that creative force, that provider, if you like. And I don't think we've really got it at the minute.
What is your thoughts on Farke playing, Piroe as the 10 and Rutter up top? Do you think he needs to switch that around? Is it as simple as literally just switching them around?
I don't think it is, but I'm not a master tactician. But if it was as simple as switching them around, Daniel Farke would switch them around. He's not trying to make life more difficult for himself, is he? The end of the day, I said afterwards, people say, keep playing Piroe in the 9. And I'm like, I don't think it's as easy. Oh, well, yeah, but he'll be in them positions, but we might not even get to them positions. There's a lot of people that say to me, just switch them around. And I get it. But at the same time, surely if it was that easy, Ollie, then Daniel Farke, who knows more than any of the fan base, regardless what anyone thinks, knows more than any of the fan base, isn't playing them that way. There's a reason. Maybe it's because how they were building up. We don't know yet. Now, after the international break, if Piroe's still in the 10, then I'm starting to ask questions. I'm hoping it's something else that might have been worked on, because ultimately Piroe is a 9. But yeah, you tell me, bro. Is it as easy? I don't know. I'm genuinely questioning it myself, because if it was, surely you would do it.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, it seems to be for me on paper. But like you said, Farke knows more than all us fans. There's a reason he's not playing as the 9. I really want to quickly just touch on Anthony. Obviously, it was a bit of a, deadline day debacle with Sinisterra, and then I put out straight away, it's not Anthony's fault. Let's get him in. And,
were you waiting for Radrizzani to quote you, Gwen? Like, listen to Ollie.
Mate, that's the only thing I miss about him, was just helping out my tweets. That's the only thing. But Anthony, would you start him against Millwall on Sunday?
Yes, mate. Yeah, I would actually. I did do a little video earlier on. Make sure you check it out, people. That basically, I think he offers us more balance. I think it's been a bit unbalanced, that 3 behind the striker, if you like. So I think he'll hold that width. He's already shown as well that he can operate in this division. There was a lot of tripe being said about, he's not wanted by Bournemouth, etc. But he'd played every game in the Premier League. It was clearly he was ready to start games this season in the Premier League. They've just looked at Cine and gone, he's better, which, if we're being honest, he is. Whether or not he'll stay fit, that remains to be seen. But Jayden Anthony, I would, mate. I would start him on the left, Gnonto on the right, and I would have Somerville in the 10, and then Piroe up top. That would be my preferred front 3.